3 tools Charles, our bike riding expert, is using to recalibrate his own senses to conquer the backwards bike in Times Square. Will practice make his senses perfect?
So tell us, what have you been doing with this bike?
The first time I got on it, I wasn't able to go a foot. Couldn't get my feet to the pedals. Steering was very counterintuitive. It was certainly like being a 5-year-old again.
Your brain automatically wants to use this pathway that is previously built. So not only are you learning a new skill, you're overcoming this old skill.
So you've been practicing?
Yes.
And during that time, you didn't ride your normal bike at all, right?
Right. So there was no regular steering, only the reverse steering.
You ready to give it a shot?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Great job, Charles.
Thank you.
That was amazing. So those 2 weeks of practice paid off, huh?
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun to be able to do it with an audience.
Started to feel natural a little bit?
Absolutely.
So does that mean that he was creating a new neural pathway, right?
Yeah, I think there's definitely been some remodeling there.
With 2 weeks to practice, Charles has reprogrammed the part of his brain that learned to ride a normal bike all those years ago. The experiment isn't quite over.
Okay, so you've been practicing on the inverted one for 2 weeks. You haven't touched the original bike.
I haven't been on my old BMX bike in 2 weeks.
All right, well, we have a surprise for you here on Brain Games. We're bringing your original BMX bike out here to see if you can still ride it.
Oh, yikes.
You guys think he's gonna do this?
I think this is going to be very difficult.
I'm eager to see what happens.
We've given one professional bike rider the chance to master his senses and do what our brains tell us is impossible: ride a backwards bicycle.
You ready to give it a shot?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
And after 2 weeks of dedicated practice, Charles conquered his brain.
Great job, Charles.
Thank you.
That was amazing. So those 2 weeks of practice paid off, huh?
Absolutely.
But what do you think will happen when Charles climbs back on his own personal bike?
Come on, Charles. Come on, Charles. Wow.
Charles' motor memory fails him after only a few feet.
What used to be so intuitive has now become the opposite. What happened, Charles?
No.
It's tough, right?
Interesting, right? It's like those 2 weeks carved a new neural pathway in your brain, and all of a sudden this became unnatural.
Right.
So this is a really incredible example of what we call neuroplasticity. So researchers have found that your ability to learn and relearn different motor tasks are linked to a particular part of the brain called the cerebellum. And what this area does is it compares what we're trying to do with what we've done in our past. And so it slowly updates the pathways as we learn new skills. So now you're stuck with this new pathway and it's difficult to ride your bike.
How did it feel?
It felt strange.
Strange.
Right. Familiar, but strange.
Like something was off.
Definitely.
Well, as it turns out, you'll be able to quickly unlearn the new skill and regain back your mojo.
A couple of days even, you'll be great.
Yeah, no, I think I'll be taking the subway home.
Yes, you will. All right. Well, thanks for being here, Charles. You were amazing.
Thanks, Jason.